So, just in the pure interest of giving you both sides of the story, we want to be fair and balanced here at Juno News. And so, after interviewing Cam Davies, the leader of the Republican Party of Alberta, we thought it would only be fair to talk to his opponent in the upcoming by election. So, I am very pleased now to be joined by Tara Sawyer. Tara is a farmer, a business owner, and an agricultural leader running as United Conservative Party candidate in Old Didsbury Three Hill in the by election that is taking place on Monday. So, Tara, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thanks very much for having me. I appreciate it.
I could tell you're out campaigning and we caught you in your car. So, we do appreciate your time here. So, first of all, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you into the world of politics?
My family farms here in the Acme, just outside of Acme, in the riding of Old Didsbury Three Hills, and our family's been farming here since 1903. And my background with our kids is raised our family here, and my family's pretty passionate about policy and having a farmer's voice at a table, and representing the rural people. So I've done a lot of advocacy work. My background with being the chair of Alberta Grains before that, Alberta Barley Commission before we amalgamated, has been being the voice for wheat and barley farmers of Alberta. In fact, in this region, Region 2, where I am, that's who I represent. So I've been representing the farmers of this region for over 8 years already, and fighting the Liberal government on issues that affect farmers. And I feel really strongly, I have a strong sense of community. We're active in our community with volunteering and just giving back where you can. And I feel really strongly about being able to represent people. So this opportunity to run, and especially right now at such a pivotal time, uh, I'm deeply honored to have this opportunity.
Well, it's interesting because, I think that the separatist cause is sort of overshadowing some of the other big issues in of the day in Alberta. And so I'm just wondering, Tara, like when you're going from door to door, when you're talking to people in the riding, what are the issues that you're hearing? What are the big concerns on the ground?
Yeah, I'm hearing from people, of course, that they're concerned on healthcare and education, and there's families that are struggling to, pay for groceries and jobs, so they're frustrated with, you know, the decline we've seen in our oil and gas industry. I was at a door yesterday, and the gentleman had just been laid off after years and years. He was an older gentleman. He just got laid off. I mean, that's the type of things that in our riding, and our seniors are concerned with housing and those supports. Those are topics that I got on all the doors. And of course, that discussion on separation in Alberta and Alberta getting a fair deal is what people are talking to me about.
Well, certainly after the federal election, I think we were all surprised watching Justin Trudeau, what happened to him, what he did to our country and to his own party. It seemed like the Conservatives were a shoo in and that we were going to finally have, a change and maybe a path to prosperity. I think we were all a little surprised to see what Mark Carney was able to do. I'm wondering, like, what do you make of Cam Davies, your opponent in the riding? He's the leader of a new party that he created, the Alberta Republican Party, and I guess they're basically saying that the UCP doesn't take the separatists seriously enough, and that that's the way to go. So what do you make of Cam Davies and his party?
Look, I'm running a clean campaign. I'm not going to disparage other candidates. I think the statement, if that's what they're saying, is incorrect, because I think the premier and our party have been very clear that we're putting Alberta first, and that we want a sovereign Alberta in a united Canada. And being a sovereign Alberta means we want to be getting what should be ours, that the federal government has gotten in the way of. We want them out of our way to let us be a prosperous province. I've heard the frustrations of the people. I feel it myself. My goodness, I've been battling with that government, like I said, in my other role. Um, what I would say where they're incorrect is We have a premier who's standing up for us right now very clearly. She's not just in words, it is in action. We take that seriously, which is why she lowered the threshold and to allow for the people to make this decision. I think the mistake that's being communicated is that we aren't taking it seriously. These are the people we represent. Absolutely do. We want to have a province that is strong, and we have these amazing resources, not just oil and gas. I mean, I'm an agriculture background. The issues we're having with our tariffs, and we haven't had a government speak up for us. This government is speaking up for us, and there's no need to go to another party to go the avenue of having that. I fully expect there would be a referendum question, but even if there isn't, we're doing the work right now for all the things that everybody's frustrated about. We're doing the work right now to make that change. And this this idea that it won't split a vote is incorrect. We've seen what's happened. We need to stay strong, united conservatives, because that's
Well,
the caucus in that has the power. One seat in this riding is not going to make a difference, but it is going to make a difference to the NDP. That's we saw it happen before when we splintered, and we cannot afford 4 years of NDP again. That was a pain that nobody wants. We're still suffering the backlash from a lot of what the NDP did, as people try and do better. So, um, yeah, that's what I would say is, a lot of what I hear coming from that other party is exactly what we're already saying. Like we're already doing these things. And
right,
I
and
and
I
I and I would point out, the other piece is as someone who lives in this riding, whose business is in this riding, no one cares more than me to make sure that not only this province, but these people that I can potentially represent are represented strongly so their voice is heard.
right, and I mean, the party just had a vote on Premier Smith's leadership, and I think she got 91% approval. So it doesn't seem that the party is unhappy with the way that the premier has been leading things. It's just, yeah, maybe impatience on behalf of some. I'm wondering, Tara, what did you make of Prime Minister Mark Carney's meeting with the premiers, the first minister's meeting, and his new bill C5? It seems to me he's signaling a change federally in terms of wanting projects built. We actually just did a poll here at Juno News. Unbelievably, we reached over 6,000 Canadians, and I think it was 98% of them said they wanted more pipelines built, including 96% of people in Quebec. Across the country, overwhelming majorities of people are tired of the policies that have harmed our economy and made it really hard for young families and for everyone to get by. So, do you think that Carney is signaling a change? Do you see that as a success for the conservative movement, or are you still weary of the party that he represents and some of the people around him?
I'm always going to be leery of a liberal government, but I do think I will begrudgingly give credit he's at the table. Step 1, which is more than we can say that Trudeau ever did. Now, and I will say because I was in Quebec, oh, it would have been in March in my role with Grain Growers of Canada. I was down for the PGQ AGM, and I can tell you, speaking to the farmers there, who, first of all, were really excited to see someone from Alberta coming and being able to interact. And they were giving me fist bumps saying, we need that pipeline from east to west.
Wow.
A level of support from the people. There is a shift. Now, Mark Carney needs to take us seriously. That's great. He came to the table. Let's see the action, not just the words. And that's where our premier is holding him accountable to that. I'm willing to give him a little bit of room because he's come to the table. Um, so I'm hopeful he's taking us seriously. He should, because the premier means business. We're not allowing status quo anymore. Alberta deserves to be free from the shackles of that liberal government, and we are going to be giving that pushback to give the people what they're asking for, which is we want a free Alberta. We want exactly what
It
Quebec has been given all these years. There's no excuse not to.
Well, 100%. And look, I'm not an Albertan. I lived in Alberta for a while and I went to school there and I now live in Ontario. But I think, it seems to me what Danielle Smith is doing is exactly what our country needs. We need balance to the Liberal government, and it's certainly not going to come from Ontario and Doug Ford. So, I think our audience, by and large, is, tremendously excited and loves what Premier Danielle Smith is doing, and so, I, wish you the best of luck on Monday. Should be really interesting to see that by-election, and, do you have any, final thoughts or any final comments on the by-election, Tara?
I mean, yes. I mean, I'm working hard every day. It's important to me to get out to the people. And this week, of course, we're 3 days out. It's making sure that people know we need them to get out and vote. We need them to remember it's a strong United Conservative Party that's going to get it done. And, under Danielle Smith, you, we have a very exciting time ahead for Alberta. And I want to be the person to help push that forward because I believe in it just as much as everybody else, and I want it as much as everybody else.
Well, thank you so much, for your time. That's Tara Sawyer. She is the United Conservative Party candidate in the upcoming by-election in Olds Didsbury's Three Hill. Really appreciate your time, Tara. Take care and best of luck on Monday.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time as well.
All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Like I said, we will be back on Monday to provide coverage, and we'll be bringing in the election results for you. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. We'll be back again. I'm Candice Malcolm. This is Candice Malcolm Show. Thank you, and God bless.